Okay, so welcome to Japan. Welcome back to Japan. And the show was, of course, great. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Fans' reaction was really good. It was great. So, okay, first, what was your first metal experience? Was it was it extreme metal or you got into?
It was the Black Album by Metallica. Before that, the only style of music I'd ever known was pop punk and ska. Actually, the first band I ever tried out for ever was a pop punk ska band. And my tryout song was "Damn It" by Blink-182, and I couldn't play it on guitar, so they didn't let me in. And then someone let me. They were like, "Hey, check this out!" So they handed me the Black Album. I listened to it in my mom's car when she drove me home from school. We copied it to tape until I bought it. And then from there, I saw a live Metallica video of them playing in 1989 in Seattle. I looked at the TV and said to my mom, "That's what I want to do when I grow up." So it was all from the Black Album. And once I got the Black Album, it all stemmed from there, and I started discovering the other metal bands.
What year was it? Do you remember?
99. Maybe 98 or 99 was when I got the metal.
You were born in 1986.
86.
The year of Master of Puppets.
Yep. And I didn't even hear Master of Puppets until probably 1999. Yeah, so I think I got the Black Album in 98, tried out for TRIVIUM in 99. And then, okay.
I was already 16 when Master of Puppets came out.
Yeah.
Okay. So after that, how did you find other style of picture? You get into more and more extreme stuff, or?
Yeah, for me, first it was with the Black Album, and when I befriended our drummer Travis, our old drummer at the time, he would pick me up from school, or pick me up from my parents' house, drive me to school, and then home as well, because he was a senior and I was a freshman in high school. And the first thing that he ever showed me outside of Metallica, I don't remember the order, but it was Countdown to Extinction by Negative and Pantera Official 101 Live. So those are the first things I ever heard of those bands. And then he showed me Slayer, Divine Intervention. That was the first thing. Killing Fields was the first Slayer song I ever heard. So that was the first chunk of metal I heard. And that's when Napster was still around. And through Napster, I was chatting with someone on Napster and they said, "Hey, check this out." And they sent me Jotun by In Flames. And that's the first time I ever heard anything outside of Metallica. It's the first time I ever heard like full-on screaming. Like screaming on top of such beautiful sounding melodies. From there, I wanted to find more things like that. And I started finding bands like Children of Bodom, and then Cradle of Filth, and then Cannibal Corpse, and then all of a sudden, I forgot exactly how it was that I started. I do remember, sorry. I started getting into the extreme stuff, and then I was asked to try out for another band while I was in TRIVIUM, a black metal band called Mindstar. And they're a Floridian black metal band that never got signed or anything, but really great people, really talented musician, and amazing frontman in that band named Richie. Great guitar player, great screamer. He's the one that showed me Emperor and Dimmu Borgir, and then Mork Bruning, one of my favorite Swedish black metal bands, in Dissection. And so we would just hang out when we were 15, 16 years old, and he would show me records all the time and say, "Hey, check this thing out, this thing out." He showed me Anorexia Nervosa, New Obscurant Disorder, and I found out that I had just fallen in love with black metal. Death metal I was into, but it wasn't anything that I ever was really into collecting everything of. But when it came to black metal, I'm obviously all about collecting the shirts of my favorite bands and being very much so into that. It's like almost a new, for me at the time, it was like a new world discovery of that, discovering these different subgenres and these different bands.
So you heard the melodic death metal first, then
Yep, then black metal, and probably death metal before even hearing black metal. I think I probably heard Cannibal Corpse and Crisian before I heard Emperor and Dimmu.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit strange to us because you're from Florida. It's the capital of death metal.
Yep.
And I don't think melodic death metal or black metal is very huge in the US. Maybe it's kind of a European thing.
Yeah, it is smaller in the States. It's definitely one of the smaller, the metal genres. And the death metal scene of Tampa, from what I've been told, kind of started going away around 96, 97, 98 is when it started cooling off a little bit. But yeah, definitely some of the greatest death metal bands ever have been from Florida. And it's funny when I'll chat with our friends, like we're really close to the In Flames guys, and I was asking them about where they came from and what were their favorite bands as kids, and I was like, "Oh man, Tampa, you guys had all the great bands." And I was like, "Dude, you guys are from Gothenburg. That's like the capital of metal for me, and Tampa it is for them." So when they're talking about Tampa, it's now just like a normal city where you don't really see all these great bands
I think
popping
a
up.
lot of death metal musicians from Tampa moved to Orlando.
Yeah, there definitely are a couple over there now. And Death is from Chuck Schuldiner was going into high school. It was like the high school next to my high school, which was so awesome. Yeah, I never got to meet him or anything, but we played some benefit shows for him when he was in the hospital. And Death is one of our biggest influences. That's where I got a lot of my right hand picking style from. I can't scream like that. I've tried, but I can't.
Oh, which album do you like the best from that?
Sound of Perseverance is my favorite, and then probably Symbolic and Individual Thought Patterns.
So you prefer the technical stuff?
Oh yeah. You? What about you?
I absolutely love the first one.
That's
Scream
Bloody War.
Yeah,
Oh, damn.
I'm old, so
No, that's awesome. And yourself?
I'm not a big fan,
okay.
but I'm a big fan of Cannibal Corpse.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where my name Cannibal is coming
Yeah,
from.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, the Cannibal Corpse guys are really good people. I love
Yeah,
those dudes.
they were really nice. Yeah.
We toured with them a lot, and I remember there was one show we were playing, Cannibal Corpse wasn't playing, and we looked out in the crowd in the mosh pit, and we're like, that looks like Corpse Grinder, and it was Corpse Grinder. He was in the pit.
Really?
Yeah, during
Oh my
our set.
God.
He just came and visited, and then he pushed his way to the front row, and he was like singing the words, and I was like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever.
Wow.
Good people.
Yeah, we played together in Taiwan.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, they're a great band, nice people, great. Okay, so now we're as far as the extreme metal goes, the black metal is your favorite genre. Right?
That melodic death metal, yeah.
And so you like Emperor the best.
Oh yeah, Emperor's my favorite, and through Ishan's influence, both as a friend and as a musician, it's always crafted the way I kind of wrote outside of Trivium, like the stuff I'm creating now with Mrityu originally was just going to be traditional black metal, traditional like Norwegian style, early 90s black metal. I wasn't going to tell anyone I was in the band. I'm not sure why. I think originally because I wanted extreme metal fans to give it a chance, because I know that if an extreme metal fan heard the guy from Trivium is making black metal, they would almost not believe it or not want to hear it. And I think originally that's why I wanted to make it an alias. But when I got into Aramita, and then soon after that became friends with Ishan, I realized that you should be making the kind of music that you want for yourself, from your heart, from your own mind, and that's what I learned through his influence. And Mrityu became its entirely own thing, and shaped and turned into something different. And what his record showed me, and what your guys' records have always shown me too, is that you can do whatever you want in music, and that's what changes it into something truly amazing. And so that's why I've always appreciated the black metal that does something different, that applies things that you wouldn't really typically expect in music, and that's what keeps it interesting. That's what I love about the genre so much, that it keeps reinventing itself, and it'll allow itself to put in things you would never expect.
Ishan was saying that the melodies that you come up with, that you make, is very interesting. It's a little bit different from what he would make. I think. So what do you think that is coming from?
I'm not sure. I think it's just from listening
thing?
to so much stuff. Like, I think it's important for everyone to check every style of music out that they can. And yeah, you'll find some things you don't like. Like, I do not like country. I do not like rap. But I'll at least check it out to figure out maybe what not to do. Or maybe there'll be an ingredient there that I'll appreciate. But I think listening to all the world music that I listen to as well helped me out a little bit. Because I'm really into, I can't play it, but like traditional flamenco music, or things like, whenever I'm cooking, I try to listen to the same style of music that I'm cooking. So if I'm cooking Brazilian food, I'm listening to Brazilian music. If I'm cooking traditional Mexican food, I'm listening to Rodrigo. Yeah. So if I'm like cooking Mexican food, I'm listening to like Rodrigo y Gabriela, like that kind of stuff. So I think some of that world music seeped into it. Yeah, and the melodies that are coming out in Mrityu, it's hard to even describe musically what it is. I think that's what's cool. I think that it is more so of an attitude, the same attitude of what black metal is versus the sound of what black metal is. It's just allowing it to be its own thing.